Oprah Winfrey says, I believe there's a calling for all of us. I know that every human being has value and purpose. The real work of our lives is to become aware and awakened to answer the call. And so a life of courage is a life that is answering the call. And what I will tell you is, and it's kind of scary, the call happens over and over again. You can answer the call and think, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And what it does is now you've leveled up to this consciousness, and the phone's going to ring again because there's more to do. That's why we're here, in my opinion. That's why we're here, is to answer that call, to be engaged in life itself. And life itself, hero in Greek means service. And so we're going to talk about the hero's journey for a couple reasons. I was going to talk about it anyway, and then I had a really deep discussion with a friend of mine that somebody had said to this person, well, it's part of your hero's journey. And, you know, he wasn't really into Joseph Campbell, so he's like, yeah, okay. And then he and I talked, and he went, oh, okay, I kind of get it. So a hero's journey, first of all, we all see them in cinema. Star Wars, Star Trek, Aliens. There's always a hero. They're going out on a journey. They're going to conquer the universe and make life a better place. And why do you think we love those stories? Because there are stories. They're magnified, they're bigger. You know, most of us aren't going to be Luke Skywalker and take on Darth Vader and find out that he's our dad and upset everything. And, you know, our journeys probably aren't going to be that movie worthy. And yet our journeys are just as important. Every day you're on a hero's journey. Every day you have an opportunity to say, am I ready to give up all my old stories, all my old beliefs, all my old way of being in the world, because my soul is calling to me and saying, let's do something different, shall we? Now here's the thing about the ego. Whether your life is running on all 4 cylinders and it's perfect, or whether your life is a mess, the minute you decide I want something different in my life, your ego's going to say, oh, heck no. We're comfortable. Please don't do that. Not again for me, because I'm the leap and the net will appear girl. So my ego just screams as I'm sailing through the air. It's like, could you just stop for a minute? Think this through, which I highly recommend to people. Because you never crash and burn, I promise you that. However, I have done some things and then got, oh, that was a big mistake. And then got to choose again. So your hero's journey is, are you ready to answer the call? Are you ready to go on a life adventure? And that could be as simple as, I want a new job. That could be as simple as, I want to own a home now. That could be as simple as, I think I want to get married. I think I finally want to find a relationship and settle down and have kids. Those are all heroes' journeys. Because here's the thing, when you go on a journey, what it means is, I haven't done this before. I haven't done this before. And even though you can be surrounded by people that have been married and have good lives or have babies and think it's no big deal, for you, it's huge. It is huge to say, okay, I'm ready to take that journey. I am ready to show up and be different. Now, for some of us, for me, my showing up and being different was when I got the call that my call is to build community. And so what that looks like on one level is building community here, creating a space with all of you where people feel safe, where they feel seen, where they feel heard. That is my call to make that happen. What got added to that call, I'm so glad Sarah's here today. What got added to that call, what I realized was part of that was, how do we as a community walk our talk and be in service? If hero means service, how do we do that as a community? And I say thank you to Sarah, because sometimes you want to do something and you have no idea how to do it. I've always wanted to do Habitat for Humanity. I hadn't a clue how to make that happen. Just tell somebody that lives a life of service, oh, I'd love to do that. And you get emails. Okay? So I understand you want to do this. How would you like to sign up? We take 15 people. I'm going to send you, and it's like done. So all I had to do when I was really ready, because, first I had to get comfortable about, okay, let's build this safe place here. That had to happen first, and now let's engage people. I would say I think Makasha said this morning, and if you've been here ever since Genesis birthed, and I am incorrect, I don't mean to insult anybody, but Makasha said yesterday's Gifts of Love was the best event we've done as Genesis in 7 years. Not that there wasn't one before that was this good, but we really came together as a community to be of service to the larger Berean community. And some of that is, so I'm going to call some people out. Vicki Pate, who somehow got in touch with the school district and found out that we could get permission to send out a flyer to every parent in the Berean school district and tell them about the event. Here's the first thing. 7 years ago, that couldn't have happened. You had to ring on doorbells and hang stuff up on bulletin boards and hope that people saw it and remembered it and would show up. So, thank you, God, for technology. But thank you, Vicki, for doing that. Because, again, on our journey, we need allies. We need people to say, oh, you want to do that? I can help make that happen. Oh, you're going to do Gifts of Love? Joy's like, okay. I think Cindy actually tapped her before she left. And God bless Cindy, I don't think she said to Joy, and oh, by the way, it's a lot of work. She just said to Joy, would you be interested in doing this? I'm moving to Arkansas. And Joy said, yes, thank you, God, for that. So thank you, Joy. Because when you're on your journey, it's not like you're doing this alone. You have to have allies to support you. You have to have people that say, oh, I got that. You have to have people that look and go, oh, I would love to do this at Genesis, for Genesis. Can we do this at Genesis? And my response to you will be, yeah, when would you like to get started? Because here's what I know at Minister, I'm not doing it all. I learned from masters that would tell me, you bring the people together, but if you try to do it all, you will flame out. You don't even burn out, you flame out. You just can't. And that's why my vision is a lot of people here, because many hands make really light work. Joy shared that when she left, the woman complimented on how not only proficient, but how clean we made the space. In a heartbeat. Those tables were rolling by like train cars when they were putting them away. And so on your hero's journey, you're not alone. Luke Skywalker wasn't alone. He had Han Solo. He had Princess Leia. He had Chewbacca. He had people on his journey with him to support him, even though he was going to have to be the one to go into the Death Star and kill it, or to blow it up. I don't know about the new one yet. I haven't seen it. So if you've seen it, no sharing of secrets. So you get that call. And a lot of times we get a call and we ignore it. So the first time I heard the call that said, oh, you probably want to be a minister, I didn't even think the call was in the right house, let alone talking to the right person. It took me a year. And I was taking a class and we were doing a mind mapping. And you did these hearts and you put little lines on the hearts and you decided what you wanted to do. And one of them was education. And I put ministerial school. And I went, yeah, no. And I knew, don't tell Reverend Susie. Whatever you do, don't tell Reverend Susie. When I finally had the courage to tell Reverend Susie, she said, oh, yeah, I knew that. I'm like, seriously? I didn't know that. Why would you know that? That's your other allies. Those people that love and support you so much that when you say something that you consider so outrageous, they look at you and go, girl or guy, you got this. Seriously, why weren't you stepping up to the plate before then? What took you so long? Those are your allies. The people that you want to avoid on your hero's journey are the Darth Vader people. The people that are like, are you out of your mind? Do you know how much ministerial school costs? Do you realize what your past looks like? You can't do that. You don't have enough time. You work full time. You're going to hear people who are going to try to stop you from your hero's journey because they love you so much, they're afraid for you. Don't ever think that somebody that tries to stop you on your hero's journey, unless it's negatively affecting their life, the reason they are saying things to you is because they have a journey and they're afraid to go on it. And their fear is projecting on you because they're afraid, well, wait a minute, if she steps out there, then maybe I'll have to step out there. And I don't want to step out there. There's a great story that one of my ministerial colleagues shared about her brother. And her brother has one of those really high IQs. He would belong to the 2% club. What he wanted to do with his life was be a musician and be on the radio, something that his family, mother and father who were scientists, felt was beneath him. Because he wasn't using what they felt was the gift that had been given him of this high IQ. And she shares that her brother has been miserable his whole life because he didn't become a musician. He didn't become an announcer on the radio. He wanted to make his parents happy, so he did something that engaged his high IQ that bored him almost to death. And that's how you know you're not on your journey. When every day it hurts to get out of bed. Every day you struggle with, why am I doing this? When you're on your journey, you can sit in traffic in Seattle for a half hour to an hour and you don't care. You don't care because you know your destination is bringing you joy. I never care about coming to Genesis. I never consider it a hassle or a job because I love what I'm doing. Now, some of you are sitting there thinking, I have to make a living, and so I can't possibly do this because it will interfere with how I pay my rent, how I feed my family. You can do your hero's journey in small steps. See, I think my hero's journey to ministry was all those small steps that I took my whole life. And they were wickedly crooked. And sometimes, no, not sometimes, most of the time, they were really ugly, messy stuff. And yet yesterday I was talking to some people and I was sharing some stories with them, and one of them said, and it dawned on me about the same time, wow, you have been surrounded by angels your whole life. To go through and survive some of the things that I put myself through, I had to have angels watching over me because other people have not been that lucky. And so whatever your job is, if it's not your passion, bring your passion to it. Because here's how the universe works. If you go to your job and you know that you would rather be doing, so I'm going to use Ed as an example, who is a magnificent musician. And he works at Amazon, and that might be another passion of his. I don't know that. It might be another passion, but I would bet, because Ed is so delightful that when he plays, that he never goes to Amazon and complains about that he has to go to work or what the drive's like or the people he's around. Because when you complain, what the universe is saying is what? Oh, okay, more please. If you bring your passion to your work, even though it might not look like it's what your hero's journey is, if you show up and say, I'm going to minister to people I work with. I'm going to be a practitioner. I'm going to show up 24/7 and be a practitioner everywhere I go. The universe starts to say yes to that. Things will shift in your life, and I promise you, whatever your passion is, you will start living it full out. Because one leads to the other. And it works. How many of you in here are living examples that it works? I know, see? It works. It absolutely works. And the other side of it works too. How many of you have complained and it keeps showing up in your life over and over again until you finally go, maybe I should stop complaining? Because the reality is life just is. And then what do? We build a story around it. So when you want to shift, when you want to really say, okay, I want my life to be different, and your hero's journey can just be, I want to know that I'm the minister at Genesis. I want to own this. That was my hero's journey for the last year and a half. I want to own who I am. And my ego brought me lots of information about why that wasn't true. Or now, nobody knew about this journey because it was internal. I knew it. My husband probably knew it because sometimes I would, go home in tears or whatever. And then because I knew that that was my story, and remember, you have to be on a journey, you have to give up the old stories, the old beliefs, the old information. And so I just kept cycling through it and saying, okay, that's not true. Okay, that's not true. Oh, that's not true either. Oh, wait a minute. And then one day I shifted into, this is mine. That was my most recent hero's journey. This is mine. And when I mean mine, it's not like Genesis is my church, because Genesis is God's church and it's our church. And I felt like I belonged. Have you ever gone to a new school? It's that trying to figure out who you are and who your friends are. And that's what it's like when you walk into any place, even as an adult. New job, new relationship. And all you can do on your journey is be authentic. That's your call, to be authentic. Because what's going to happen is, I belong, and now my next journey is going to start. because it never ends. That's what Star Wars has kind of said it never ends, because we're on 8 out of 9, and then I understand there's another trilogy after that. So, but to know that as one journey completes, at a higher level of consciousness, you're being called to your next journey. And so prepare yourself, because what I see in each of you is God in form. What I know about each of you is that spark within you. If you sit with a practitioner, what they see is beyond all the stories you tell yourself. Every single story you tell yourself, a practitioner will look at you and see and know the truth of who you are, and maybe give you some homework to take with you to say, okay, you may want to shift this. And so I invite you to own your hero's journey. I invite you to share your journey with people here. These are your peeps. These are the people that are going to love you up and embrace you, even when you say, I want to go to the moon. Somebody's gonna go, the moon? But I promise you, most of us will be, really? How are you going to do that? You know, there's a guy in New Mexico that's building a base so we can all fly around in outer space. I personally don't want to go, but some of you may. And so just to know, to own that journey, to share that journey, because when you share it, it makes it more valid. When you keep your journey to yourself, it's eating at your heart. It wants to be expressed, and the first way to express it is to tell somebody, you know, this is what I really would love to do. And so I invite each of you to really own that. And I want you to think about what that is that maybe you've never shared with anybody. What you really know inside of you that you want to do and start doing right now. Because once you claim it, I promise you the universe is going to show up. So you're going to have to do something. Ignoring the call is an option, but remember, you're among family and we're going to know. So each of us has a unique part to play in the healing of the world, says Marianne Williams. So what I want you to do is stand up. Counterclockwise, so you're going to go opposite than me. You don't have to say it out loud this time, but I want you to think about something that you are willing to give up in 2018 and something that you are willing to do to live your passion 2017. Give it up in 20, or to give it up for 20. Something you are willing to claim that this is my passion. This is what I'm going to do in 2018 to truly be on my hero's journey. Everybody have something? So counterclockwise, so you're going to turn opposite than me. I want you to circle around in a step of 4. So we're going to go, you guys are going to go that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then own it. Okay, I'm going to close with a prayer, and I'm going to close with a prayer so you can sit down. I'm going to close with a prayer because what I realize right now is we have members of this community that are going through life. We have members that are ill, that have had surgeries. We have members that are ill with bronchitis. We have members that their family members are on the last the last leg of their journey here on planet Earth. And so as a community, especially right now, we need to hold all of that gently. Because, this is the holiday season when we're all supposed to be, oh, yay, Merry Christmas. And life happens even at Merry Christmas. And so I invite you all just to sit in that loving energy. to just sit and know the vibration of who you are, God in form. And God is more powerful than any condition. And so for a moment, we just sit with that and we feel that vibration as it vibrates out from us. We allow ourselves to embrace that which is unlike the divine. And as we embrace it, it melts away. For it is on the human realm. It is not the truth of who we are. So I know there is one life. It is God's life. It is perfect. It's right here and right now. So as I speak my word, I am speaking my word for members of this community and their families that are going through something that looks other than perfect on this human realm. Knowing that each one of them is divinely called to this present moment. That a shift is happening right here and right now within them where they feel and know the truth of who they are. Ernest Holmes says there's nothing to be healed, there's only something to be revealed. And so in the revealing, I know that their body temple listens and they find those cells that are brand new and that are excited about finding space in their body. And they don't know anything about any disease. And those cells multiply and take over. And on the human realm, the body temple is whole. And I know for those that are letting go of family members or have recently let go of a family member into that next realm of possibility, whatever that is, I know for them an ease and grace in their grief, that they allow themselves to truly be present with the ache that is left when someone we love goes beyond this plane into another. Knowing that eventually they will realize that that person, although we can't see them and we can't talk to them in physical, they are still in this big, huge realm around us. For God is infinite. And there's not a place or a thing or anywhere that it is not. So that's this realm and every other realm. And so I know and I hold all of this true into my heart. I bless everyone here today knowing they hold people in their heart, whether they know these people or they don't, that they see the magnificent of the divine. So we just breathe that in. We allow ourselves in this time and this space just to say, thank you, God. Thank you for this moment, for this time, for this knowing how blessed we are that we have this community that holds us on high. I turn it all over, I let it go, I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. Namaste.